Sometimes, just a wall clock placed in the right or wrong spot, a potted plant sitting slightly off, or a jar of salt left in the right place or forgotten can shift the fortune and prosperity of an entire household without anyone even realizing it. In interior feng shui, every object has its own ideal placement. When placed correctly, the energy in your home flows more harmoniously, creating a calming environment, a more comfortable living experience, and making it easier for wealth and good fortune to stay. When items are out of place, the energy flow can be blocked, creating a heavy atmosphere that people might feel, even if they cannot quite explain why. In this video, I'm going to reveal some very small feng shui secrets related to your home's interior things that often get overlooked but can directly affect your luck and your ability to hold on to wealth. Before we dive into each specific item, I invite you to leave a positive affirmation in the comments as a way of welcoming good energy and peace into your life. You could write something like, "I am ready to receive good fortune and stable wealth in my living space." And if you are interested in simple but powerful feng shui tips for everyday life, make sure to subscribe to the channel Master Jen, Feng Shui Secrets for Wealth, so you can continue this journey with me in future videos. Now, I am going to show you how to reposition a few familiar items in your home. These may seem like small adjustments, but they can have a lasting impact on your fortune. First, clocks in the house. A clock is not just for telling time. In feng shui, a clock helps regulate the rhythm of your living space. It represents the passage of time, the order of daily life, and the flow of energy throughout your home. When a clock is placed in the right shape and the right location, it can help stabilize your daily rhythm, improve focus, and keep things running smoothly. On the other hand, a clock hung in the wrong place, tilted in the wrong direction, or no longer working but still on display can make the energy feel rushed, chaotic, or stagnant, often in ways that are hard to explain. When it comes to shape, round or octagonal clocks are most favored in feng shui. A round clock symbolizes continuity, smooth flow, and harmony, encouraging steady energy circulation without interruption. An octagonal clock represents balance, stability, and protection, making it ideal for families who value long-term steadiness. It is best to avoid clocks with sharp edges or overly heavy designs, as these can create tension and disrupt the softness of the living space. In terms of placement, the east is considered the most favorable direction to hang a clock. This direction is associated with new beginnings, freshness, and rising positive energy. When a clock is placed in the east, the household tends to follow a more consistent rhythm, with a sharper, more alert mindset and a lighter start to each day. This tip applies not only to living rooms, but also to individual rooms, as long as the clock is within your natural line of sight and does not create a sense of pressure. In the living room, a clock should be placed where it is easy to see, but not too low, so that when you enter your home, you sense the flow of time naturally without feeling stressed. In private rooms, clocks should not be placed directly across from the bed, as this can make people feel rushed or tense, making it harder to relax. A clock placed properly can help create a healthy routine without making people feel like they are constantly racing against time. Another often overlooked element is the sound of the clock. Clocks with a soft, steady ticking sound or gentle chimes can help activate positive energy in a room. These sounds act like subtle reminders, helping the energy feel alive and moving. However, the sound must be moderate, not too loud or rapid, to avoid causing stress or mental distraction. Clocks that tick too fast or too loud can make daily life feel rushed and uncomfortable over time. And finally, a very important rule: the clock must always be in working condition. If the clock has stopped, the hands are stuck, or it shows the wrong time, do not leave it there for long. In feng shui, a stopped clock symbolizes stagnation and disruption, and it can make people feel like life is not progressing. If you are not using the clock anymore, either take it down or get it fixed, so the flow of your living space stays smooth and uninterrupted. Second, photos and picture frames in the house. Photos and frames hold energy, human energy, memories, and emotions. In interior feng shui, the images you hang on your walls are what stay the longest in your space. They silently influence the mood and energy of your home and the people living in it. That is why where you hang your pictures is just as important as what is in them. For family photos, the first thing to avoid is hanging them near the main entrance. The front door is where energy constantly flows in and out. If you place a family photo here, all the energy entering the house will directly impact the image and, by extension, the family's energy field. This can lead to instability, especially if the door is opened and closed often. The most ideal place for family photos is the living room, where people gather, talk, and spend time together. Hanging photos here promotes a feeling of warmth, unity, and balance. It also nurtures harmony within the home. For photos of loved ones who have passed away, be especially thoughtful about where you place them. These photos should not be hung in bedrooms or common living spaces because the energy of remembrance is not suitable for rest or daily activity. This is not about superstition, it is about energetic compatibility. The best place for these photos is in a separate area dedicated to remembrance, or stored respectfully in a drawer or cabinet that is quiet and private. This placement shows respect while helping the rest of the home maintain a peaceful, balanced energy. When it comes to feng shui artwork, what matters is not how many pictures you hang, but how intentionally you choose them. Too many pictures in one space can create a cluttered feel, making energy feel scattered and unfocused. In feng shui, just enough is always better than too much. Art featuring mountains, nature, and solid landscapes brings a sense of stability, endurance, and security. These are perfect for the living room or shared spaces, helping to build a strong, energetic foundation for the home. In the master bedroom, artwork should feel light, gentle, and evoke a sense of fulfillment. Paintings of fruit, which symbolize abundance, or balanced couple imagery that reflects partnership and connection, are great choices. Avoid artworks that are too energetic, overly abstract, or emotionally intense, because the bedroom is a place to rest, not a space for constant stimulation. One small but important detail is the frame. The frame should be sturdy, straight, and free of cracks or tilts. A broken or crooked frame left that way for too long can subtly cause unease and affect the subconscious sense of security. Occasionally, wiping down the frame and adjusting it to hang neatly is a simple way to refresh the energy in your space. Third, indoor plants and decorative flowers. When plants are placed in the right spot and are well cared for, they can make a room feel more breathable and help stabilize the mood of the people living there. But when a plant is placed in the wrong location or left to wilt for too long, the life energy it brings may quietly fade instead of grow. The first thing to pay attention to is the size of the plant. Indoor plants should not be too tall or too large compared to the smallest person in the home, especially young children. A plant that is too tall can create the feeling of being overshadowed or energetically weighed down, throwing off the balance of the room. In feng shui, plants should support and soften the space, not dominate it. In terms of placement, the best locations for plants are balconies, near windows, or in corners with access to natural light. These spots allow plants to absorb sunlight and help energy circulate gently throughout the room. Plants in these areas tend to make a space feel vibrant, yet still grounded and harmonious. One important thing to avoid is placing plants too close to the head of the bed. While green plants can feel refreshing, they are still living beings exchanging energy with their surroundings. At night, if a plant is placed near your head while sleeping, its life energy can interfere with deep rest, especially for sensitive individuals or the elderly. A better spot would be at the foot of the bed or in a room corner, far enough away to avoid disrupting your sleep. It is also crucial to pay attention to the plant's condition. Wilted plants, yellowing leaves, or heavy leaf drop that go untreated can bring a sense of stagnation and energy decline. In feng shui, a sickly plant is seen as a sign that the energy in the space is weakening. If you do not have time to care for many plants, choose hardy ones or reduce the number of pots to keep the energy in balance. A common mistake is cramming too many plants into a small space, thinking that more plants mean better energy. In reality, this can make the energy feel cluttered and heavy. Each plant should have breathing room so their energies do not overlap or compete with each other. When your plants are placed in the right spot, are the right size, and are consistently cared for, they not only beautify your space, but also help nourish a lasting sense of comfort, stability, and harmony throughout your home. This is a very down-to-earth, approachable aspect of feng shui that, when done right, can truly support your family's mental well-being and the overall energy flow over time. Fourth, mirrors in the house. Mirrors are one of the most powerful objects in interior feng shui. They do more than just reflect images, they multiply and redirect energy flow. When placed correctly, mirrors can make a space brighter, appear more spacious, and improve the circulation of life energy. But when placed incorrectly, mirrors can bounce energy back, scatter it, or cause conflict in the flow, directly affecting the atmosphere and long-term stability of your home. For mirrors near the entrance, the placement needs to be carefully considered. If the mirror is hung on the left side of the door, as seen from inside the house looking out, it tends to support wealth energy, helping with business and relationships. If hung on the right side, it generally supports health, mental well-being, and everyday stability. Both sides can work, but never place mirrors on both sides at once. This creates a harsh symmetry that can cause energy to clash, leading to unease and making it harder for positive energy to settle. One very important rule is to avoid placing a mirror directly facing the front door. The front door is where energy enters the home. If a mirror reflects it straight back, the good energy is pushed right out, making it harder for luck to stay. Similarly, avoid placing mirrors facing the bathroom or toilet. These areas carry draining energy, and when reflected by a mirror, that unstable energy can spread to other parts of the home, reducing the sense of cleanliness and comfort. In the bedroom, mirrors must be used with extra care. A mirror should not reflect the bed directly, as this can lead to restlessness, poor sleep, or frequent waking. If your room already has a fixed mirror, it is best to cover it at night or adjust its angle so it does not reflect the sleeping area. A soft trick to reduce the harsh energy of mirrors is to place a green plant next to them. Plants help soften and balance energy, preventing mirrors from reflecting too sharply. The reflection also becomes more calming and natural. Choose small plants with rounded shapes and soft leaves. Avoid plants with sharp or spiky foliage to maintain harmony. Aside from placement, the condition of the mirror is just as important. Mirrors that are scratched, cracked, or foggy should not be used, as unclear reflections can cause energetic confusion and instability. Keep your mirrors clean and bright so that they reflect energy clearly and gently. Fifth, Feng Shui salt jars. The Feng Shui salt jar is one of the smallest items in a home, yet it has a steady, long-lasting impact on the overall energy field. Salt naturally has strong purifying properties. In everyday life, it is used for cleansing, preserving, and balancing. In interior feng shui, salt acts as a passive filter, drawing in heavy energy, reducing bad vibes, and cleansing the stagnant energy that has built up over time. The key point is that salt does not create new energy. It removes the excess, helping the flow inside your home become lighter and more open. In any home, energy does not always flow evenly. There are times when life feels tense, when emotions stay heavy for too long, or when certain corners of the home are barely used and lack sunlight, becoming traps for stagnant energy. A salt jar placed in the right spot will quietly absorb this outdated energy and gradually restore balance to the entire home. Because this process happens slowly and silently, most people do not notice it right away, but over time, the space starts to feel lighter and more pleasant. The best place to put a salt jar is near the front door, where energy enters and exits most often. In this spot, the salt acts as a gentle filter, stopping unwanted energy before it spreads deeper into the home. The northeast and southwest corners are also commonly recommended, as these areas are prone to energetic whirlpools or stagnation if underused or poorly lit. Placing a salt jar in these spots helps balance the overall energy over time. However, it is important not to overuse salt jars. In feng shui, using too many energy-absorbing objects can dry out a space and reduce its vitality. Usually, 1 to 3 jars are enough, depending on the size of your home and how the space feels. 1 near the entrance to filter incoming energy, 1 in an underused corner, and 1 more if necessary in a spot that feels heavy. There is no need to place 1 in every room or to change them frequently. A clear sign that it is time to replace the salt is when it starts to clump, gets damp, or changes color. This means the salt has absorbed as much negative energy as it can. During times of family stress, emotional heaviness, or prolonged worry, replacing the salt is a simple way to refresh the energy field. To do this, just throw the old salt away, clean the jar, and add fresh salt. There is no need for any complicated rituals. 6th, lighting and brightness. Lighting guides energy flow, breaks up stagnation, and keeps your space from becoming heavy or dull over time. Dark areas that stay unlit for too long tend to gather stagnant energy, making people feel tired, sluggish, or uneasy without knowing exactly why. The first thing to pay attention to is dark corners, hallways, and hidden spaces in your home. These spots are often overlooked, but greatly influence the overall mood of the space. A long hallway with no lighting, a dim staircase, or a corner that is always dark should be gently illuminated. You do not need bright lighting, just enough to make sure the area is not forgotten energetically. When light is evenly distributed, energy flows more smoothly, making the space feel more cohesive and safe. As for the type of lighting, warm light is always preferred in living spaces. Warm lighting nurtures the energy in the home, soothes emotions, and helps the body relax, especially at night. In bedrooms and resting areas, warm light signals the body that it is time to wind down, making it easier to fall and stay asleep. Bedside lamps, corner lights, or small, warm-toned bulbs can do wonders for mental stability and long-term sleep quality. A common mistake is using lights that are too harsh or too bright in restful areas. Strong, white lights can overstimulate the nervous system, making it hard to relax even after turning off the main lights. This can lead to poor sleep, waking up often, or feeling tired in the morning. That is why in quiet spaces like bedrooms, reading rooms, or relaxation corners, you should avoid direct beams, high wattage lights, or cold, sharp lighting for long periods. Also, light should be balanced throughout the home, not just focused in one spot while leaving others in shadow. A well-lit house feels welcoming and comfortable from the moment you walk in, even without fancy decor. Adding lamps in the right places is a simple way to improve feng shui without major renovations or shopping for new furniture. One small but powerful tip is to turn on lights in forgotten corners at night, even if you are not using those areas. This helps maintain stable energy throughout the home and prevents those corners from becoming dead zones where heavy energy builds up. The goal here is not strong illumination, but simply to keep that part of the home present and energetically connected to the whole. 7th, fish tanks and water fountains. Gently flowing water symbolizes the circulation of wealth, energy, and the rhythm of life. That is why spaces with water elements often feel more relaxing, soothing, and soft. When the water is clean, flows smoothly, and is placed in the right spot, it helps energy in the home move consistently, not too fast, not too slow. But when water is poorly placed or not well maintained, it can create an unsettled atmosphere that makes it hard to rest, even if you cannot pinpoint exactly why. The very first and most essential rule when it comes to water in feng shui is to ensure that it remains clean and gently flowing at all times. Stagnant, dirty, or murky water not only fails to support positive energy, it actually creates a heavy, sluggish atmosphere that can drag down the overall mood of the home. In contrast, A steady, uninterrupted flow of clear water symbolizes wealth and abundance, entering the house in a natural way, not rushed, yet not blocked either. The sound of water should be soft and soothing, present enough to be noticed, but never so loud that it becomes distracting or overwhelming. When it comes to choosing the right location, the east direction is often considered the most ideal for gentle, flowing water. This area is associated with growth, renewal, and fresh beginnings. Placing a fish tank or a softly bubbling fountain here can help promote a smoother and more balanced flow of energy throughout the entire house. Other great options include balconies or spaces near windows, as these are transition points where the energy from outside blends with the energy inside, creating a breezy, open, and refreshing feeling. One very important point to keep in mind is that flowing water should never be placed too close to a bedroom or any area designed for rest and recovery. Even though water is known for its calming qualities, the constant movement and sound it produces can disrupt deep sleep, especially for older adults or people who are more sensitive to noise and energy shifts. Since bedrooms are meant to be peaceful sanctuaries where the body and mind can fully recharge, water elements are best kept in shared living spaces or open areas instead. Additionally, it is wise to stay away from fish tanks or water features that create loud, harsh, or irregular noise patterns. Sudden or jarring water sounds can cause the energy in the home to feel hurried or anxious, which may lead to subtle stress or discomfort over time, often without people being aware of the cause. In feng shui for the home, the role of water is to nourish and support, not to overstimulate or agitate the space continuously. All it takes is starting with one small detail, adjusting something that is slightly out of place, keeping the space clean, and making sure the energy can breathe. With that, you are already laying the foundation for lasting peace and stability. The best kind of feng shui is the kind that makes people feel comfortable, sleep better, and go through daily life with more ease.